Behind the net curtain. They found the notebook beneath the floorboards of the old house on the edge of Greystone, the house with no number. It stood alone where the road lost its name, swallowed by a once grand garden, now brambles and outgrown hedges. People said it had always been there, long before the town grew up behind it, but now it stood lonely and empty. But someone had lived there once, that much was clear. The notebook was warped, its cover softened by years of damp, its pages curled at their corners like dried leaves. But the ink had held. The writing was neat at first, steady, like the mind behind it had meant every word. Notebook 1, Elmsworth House. Initial entry. There's always someone behind the net curtain. Morning, noon, night. They don't move, they just stand. I waved once. They didn't wave back. I asked, "Why are you behind the net curtain?" They said, "I don't know. It just feels right." The notebook passed from police evidence to local records, then to the University of Wessex, where it sat in a box labelled Unexplained Local Phenomena. That's where Erin West found it. She was a postgraduate researcher in folklore, specialising in spatial hauntings, liminal spaces, houses that remembered, objects that refused to forget. She wasn't looking for ghost stories. She was looking for patterns. What she found was an obsession. The house was listed under no current owner. Erin searched the records. Last tenant, Meredith Chambers, presumed missing. No witnesses, no sign of struggle, just gone. Meredith's notes weren't frantic, they were precise. She'd documented sightings of the figure at the window, time of day, weather conditions, changes in posture, if any. Most entries ended the same way. No movement, curtains still drawn, presence unchanged. At first, Erin dismissed it as loneliness or madness, but the longer she read, the less it felt like delusion. There was a cold, quiet logic to it. And the same line kept appearing. A net curtain is perfect for looking out, but no good for looking in. She began dreaming of curtains. They hung before her eyes like a veil. In the dreams, she was always inside a room, always looking out. But the more she looked, the less she could see. The world outside faded, lost in gauze. But still she watched, and never thought to step away. Erin started noticing them everywhere. Net curtains, old terraced homes, retirement flats, hospitals, always drawn, always just enough to obscure, always the possibility of someone behind them watching. Not malevolently, not even consciously, just being. She scanned the notebook into the university archive, page after page. The final entry was different. It no longer observed. It tried to explain. It isn't a haunting, not in the usual sense. It's an idea, position waiting to be filled. A stillness that spreads. The figure at the window is not the same person again and again. It's many people reduced to the same shape. Looking at it makes it stronger. Trying to see in gives it form. Eventually, someone takes their place behind the curtain. They think they're watching. They don't realise they've already been seen. Erin stared at that sentence for a long time. Then she did something she never intended. She visited the house. It hadn't changed. It was as she imagined it had always been. Still weathered brick, still pale curtains, still an uneasy silence to the air around it. She didn't go in, just stood at the gate and looked. There was no figure now, just the curtain, light and translucent. But even with no one behind it, she felt watched. Or worse, remembered. That night she scanned the final page. The scanner light passed once, twice, then froze. The preview image showed something faint, something not on the paper. A shape, a silhouette. Behind the grain of the blurred scan, someone standing. She blinked, looked again. It was gone, but something was shifting. She could feel it. In her dreams, in the corners of mirrors, in the hesitation before drawing her own curtains closed. Erin didn't return to the archives. Her flat was found undisturbed, lights off, laptop open, final scan paused. Someone had added a line to the last page in faint pencil. You looked too long. That's all it takes. In the university reading room, where the notebook is still occasionally displayed, the windows are now curtained. Not for light control. No one remembers installing them, but they remain drawn. Always. And sometimes, if you sit long enough to really look, you'll swear you see something behind those curtains. Not a person, not a ghost, just a presence, placed, waiting, because a net curtain is perfect for looking out, but no good for looking in. And sooner or later, someone has to take